And hey guys, it's sorry, Lady Hippy's at the bar this morning. As you can tell from the adjustments, I fired my production manager. I like doing it by myself. It's for entertainment purposes only, and usually I'm here all week. We'll see how it shapes up. Um, a bunch of stuff going on, both in the real world and paranormal, and that paranormal realm. It seems like it takes in ghosts and UFOs and what have you. So there's a lot to talk about this morning, I think. I'd like to know why the International Court of Crimes is always after Israel, but Putin didn't have no problems. He could kill thousands in the Ukraine. Nobody's not a peep. Now, the Israelis are still getting rockets thrown at them every freaking night, but that's, their crime is killing people. Yeah. The U.S. got one job only. They can't even pick the right one to fuck with. Sorry. I'm in a mood this morning, as you can tell. I did check onto a few things, and I wasn't happy with anything I saw. One of the things that made me stand back and go, seriously, somebody needs to really clear DC. The first thing I saw when I checked into what was happening around the world, and again, I'm fidgeting again, was that Biden can't take that moniker. He doesn't hold any office. So really, it's just Biden. Oh, Joe, 82. I'm 65. You couldn't pay me enough to be that. And just a figurehead, even 82. Repeat that to yourself slowly. 82. And tell me you're going to vote for this unhealthy bastard. Just what? Seriously? Nobody's talked to Hunter yet? He keeps showing up at Congress after they've already missed the date for him to appear. Now, the new thing is they want to bring in the Middle Easterners who are displaced. They need help, so they're now in the refugee status. We're going to fast track them through, and we make sure we get them terrorists moved all around the United States. Really? That would explain why they're trying to take our guns and Bible, folks. I don't think too many actually read the Bible because they out there by the thousands in those tents for those people that are buying planes, like, Osteen. They out there sending their safe faith gifts, pass that basket, put them checks in there, whatever. Seriously? I can't believe people are that, I don't know. I don't have a good word for it because it's just so weird that thousands would go, hey, he's got one plane, let's get him another one. At what point do they step back and go, well, damn, look at all the, where's he living? You in your $30,000 rental house up there paying $100. Like with 4,000 of you, $100. Y'all did see the movie? That's where they go in and they become preachers because they make a lot of money. Evangelists. I don't know if that's their title or not, but I like that better than preacher. Although that's what they do. Yeah. But they don't preach hell because they want you to be able to get where you got to go on your own. Yeah, I'm pissed off this one. I'm like, what the, let's bring the terrorists in. If we don't get them, we'll get their wife and kitties, and they'll probably follow later. It's a good thing I don't have a production team because I'd be looking at it like, am I the only one that caught that? I don't hear no hue and cry. I don't hear no hue and cry at these colleges and universities. Where the hell are you people? If they're going to be allowed to talk and spew hatred, especially against one particular nation that's actually being hit every day with missiles and terrorists, every day, and they're criminals. And the guys who are stealing away and throwing this shit at them and killing folk and still have hostages, those guys are really good guys. What the hell? Y'all have a brain. Did they do a lobotomy on 50,000 folk I didn't know about per city? I see these people out there that, they're young. Oh, they're young. No, they ain't. They're community members. No, they ain't. That's the line they've been told to say if they get questioned by a cop with the water cannons or the pepper spray or, the riot shields. What the shit? Seriously? They don't need to be sent back. You don't take them through and bail them out. No, you take them in. You find out if they got a passport, if they're here legally, if they're here on a visa. You get that shit. I don't care if you got to send 15 officers to their house. You get their shit, give it to them, and throw them on a plane. You send them back to college? Really? Apparently, there's a lot of stupid people on this planet. And most of them live here. I never thought the United States people or Americans in per se were really that stupid. And then I start looking at the world news and oh my God, it's embarrassing how stupid we are. And I've always been disappointed in politics. And I've worked in the government many, many years, many decades. And I've always not pulled my punches. I had a senator who used to drink with me every once in a while. And he was always saying, you're going to leave, you're going to get shot. So he was right about that. And I haven't stopped. They may take the broadcast down. I'm not really sure if I give a rat's hind. But yeah. Really? Nobody out there. There's no red flags. I'm the only one. I'm not the only hippie here. I know. I'm not the only baby boomer here. So where are my faves? Where are my fans? Where is everybody? I don't need fans, but I sure need people on the channel to talk about the stupidity. I know for a fact that not everybody in America believes in this crap, but everybody I talk to are going, what the hell? So, I'm surrounded by 100,000 people or what have you, and none of them can say they voted for this person who's in there supposedly now, who changes faces about every other broadcast, if they have one that month. Generally, they have one every year. You notice that guy doesn't get out there every day with the press in the White House. Trump did. And they just attacked him. They were like vicious little ankle biters. They couldn't get high enough to his knee, but they were little ankle biters. And he could swat him down, but there was 10 more where that was. Not saying a damn thing. Not a damn thing. I wanted to, I was going to say, I wish I lived in D.C. still, because I get my press badge out and I'd go. So somebody could ask him a real freaking question instead of, yeah. That's what they sounded like to me, little yippers. They still do, as far as that goes. I love the vacant look on the White House correspondent's face whenever she's facing them, especially when she gets to Steve Ducey's son, Peter. Go, Peter Ducey. Shout out, babe. Yeah, he tears her a new ass every time she gets up there. I love that boy. I've been watching him since he was a baby, which I'm upset about because I don't watch Fox anymore because it's a political channel. It's not news. It used to be news. Started in San Antonio when we lived there, and it was free like PBS used to be. Yeah, now they scramble every freaking thing. And we all go, sure, let's get, that's $200 this month. Oh, it went up. So it's $250. You don't have a contract? Yeah, it went up. Cost went up. Well, then costs need to get off my ass because I ain't going to keep you. I done cut all that shit out 2-3 years ago. And they still, every 6 months, they tried to, because I had to take human automated pilling away from these people because they kept just taking. What is it with you fucks today? Excuse me. Oh, don't squint your eyes. Getting down picks them up. I don't want to be mean. You come over here and sit down, Pixie. Come on. Yeah, you guys have seen her. Those of you who watch this stupid shit, no, she don't. She knows I'm on TV and I don't want her up here. So one time she gets up here that I seen is when I'm on live. She waits till I start talking and I tell her, I put a pillow in the chair, the bar stool beside me. And she'll sniff around at that. I'll pet her a bit and she'll sit down. She got to have a bath today. Have you ever tried to bathe cats? It's fun. That's probably why I'm a little pissy this morning. I don't know. Like I said, the first thing that got me was just watching this, the refugees. And I was like, oh my God. How many Ukrainians are here as refugees? Show of hands. Yeah. Anybody? No? Okay. Just checking. Anybody? Maybe you should call Oprah Winfrey. She's got all that money and power and prestige. She'll get you over here. If you're a Middle Eastern tourist, you got a fast track in. You don't have to know squat. Got a passport? No. Okay. Any ID? No. Okay. Passed. Well, we did that all along the border for 4 years. I don't know what anybody's surprised about. And I keep seeing news reports going, okay, there's another family being killed in Texas right along the Rio Grande. Yeah, that wasn't the Mexican cartels at all. They just had a problem with each other. Seriously. I just cannot believe Americans are this stupid. And yet I see the supposed news and they're up there with the ankle biters. Who's funding all this shit? Because you got to buy tents, you got to buy water, you got to buy food. This is not given to them, or it is, but it's not part of the college or university they're at. Although all the presidents seem to be on their side, except for a few who resigned because it turned out public opinion said, bitch, please. And at this point, even I don't even have that left. It's like you get numb because if I didn't like the news so for like 2 years, I didn't even try to watch. And now, and I don't watch American so-called news programs, the political channels, Fox, CNN, NBC, CBS. Those are political channels. And so what the hell? You knew, okay, yeah, politics, they're screwing you running. You don't have to see anything else, Those of us who don't believe everything they throw at us, which is absolutely nothing we believe that they say, yet they're still on the air. So you got to wonder, I do, at that. I can't believe there's that many people that are watching lying idiots every day. 4 channels of them, at least. Seriously, there's that many people watching these news channels? No, there's not. I can't find anybody who's watching them. So either I used to think I'm the lone guy in the market here, but it's not true. Everybody I talk to in every walk of life, depending on whether you're a cashier or a person who's shopping, I'm a gabber, as you can tell. And so I'm out there. Did you do this? Did you see that? Or they're asking me. And a lot of the times, it's like the old show Cheers, where everybody knows your name when you walk in. And so, you walk in, they yell Wanda. It's like, okay, hey. I was trying to snake in, but people wonder why I do apps. I do the makeup, the clothes, and all that before it goes. Because 15 people I don't really know are going to come up. So I try to be well dressed when I go out. So today, of course, like I said, it's cat bathing day. So once I get through, and I jumped in early this morning, feeling better. Thank you, everybody. Eyes are still about swollen shut, but I swear I haven't been weeping or anything. It's just tired. But I've actually been getting 5 or 6 hours of sleep, even if it's broken. That's pretty good for me. Generally, I suffer from insomnia, so I get an hour nap, and that's what I call it, hour nap, and walk around for a little while and get an hour nap. So like I said, maybe that's another reason I'm irritated, because I'm very irritated this morning. So I found out those things. I was like, okay, I'm getting off of here. I'm going to go watch some ghosts or something. And I love the new technology, I got to admit, the Kinect camera, the SLS, they call it, which maps out anything that's a human shape and puts it as a stick figure. And you see them on the walls, see them on your shoulders. There's no reason I can find anyway for anybody to say, I don't believe in ghosts. I can see if you wouldn't believe in ghosts, but you got to believe in paranormal because it's been out there for 35 years. There's been sightings, taps, ghost hunters, all these before the shows that you have now. Ow. So that's been out there a while. So if you're going to say you don't believe in ghosts, that's one thing, but the paranormal is real, as many people have found to their detriment, because they did not believe until it happened to them. And then they were like, well, what the hell do I do? There's something slamming open drawers back, and they're filming this. No, picks right here. Picks them up. And she'll give you that evil eye stare like, what? You gonna do the water again? Cats have all animals have personalities. Even I love the dolphins, how they sing to you, and then you give me a kiss and all that. So do the killer whales, although the one did drown the trainer. After you've been in a cage for so long and you're being made to do acrobatics or whatever, you bite them too. I hate zoos. As far as like SeaWorld, if they were taking care of an animal, a whale, what have you, a seal, that was needing to be rescued. I could see that. But to take one from their natural habitat and put them in a big fishbowl that they see every day and nobody else. Don't see anybody else. Now, of course, most of them say, okay, we have access to the ocean. They can go out. No, I don't believe that for a second, because if they could go, they wouldn't have been coming back. Really? Do we all dash out of our cage and run back in? Yeah, most of us have a gilded cage. We call it work at home. It's a gilded cage. You're not doing what you want to do. You're doing what you have to do. At least that's what we tell ourselves. Yeah, and then you look back and you go, damn. I love this technology because I don't have to run around. I don't have to get in the heat or the cold. I don't have to spend a ton in gas and so forth, which you can't afford now. Aluminum foil is $14 for Reynolds wrap or the small. Really? At what point do consumers go, hey, screw you? I put that shit on the pan. Most of it's just used foil so it doesn't screw up the pan. So at some point, we're all going to go, screw you. It's $14. It was $1.29 a year ago. Now it's $14. Y'all need $14 for each consignment you spent 30 cents on? Walmart, you should be ashamed. Really, you should be ashamed. I've heard Target. I'm thinking about going to Target. I didn't like Target before. They were all the same in pricing. Target's reducing a bunch of stuff because they've heard the consumers go, screw you. And they're seeing that they still have stuff on the shelves while the warehouse is packed. Because people are going, screw you, I'm not paying that. I'm not paying you $25 for a pound of hamburger. Picks them up. Come over here, baby. Come on. No, not across here. It's amazing I am just being calm this morning because I'd like to scream and shout from the rooftop. Pick some up, quick, quick. Oh, Lord. Quit. Now, that's enough. Come around. Pixie, come around over here. Get down. Get down. Boy, she turned around, but she didn't get down. I just shoved her. She just turned around in a circle. Sorry. I would just stop the stream, but if I stop the stream in this kind of mood, I won't finish anything today. Don't you do it. Oh, my gosh. It's going to be one of those damn days. Pixie, everybody, down you go. My little calico. Rescued her as an infant. This is what happens. She climbed into my hand out in the garden. Didn't even know she was there. Went to move one of the plant stands, and she was trapped under it. And she walked right into my hand as I lifted it. She had been trapped there. And she had a bad eye. She was losing the eye. Managed to save the eye and all that. So now she gives me the evil eye. So bear with me because I don't have anybody here. It's just me. I wear all the hats. So there's nobody to freaking blame but me. I was watching several broadcasters. I think I've mentioned AJ and Hecklefish a few times. Shout out to Wi-Files. And Joe, too. Shout out to Joe. About things that are going on in the world. With Trevor Howard was a really long interview for Joe Rogan. It was a really good interview. But there's a bunch of stuff that's come up. And first, Cat Williams was the first one to say anything about this sex problem. Bill Cosby, it looks like he was the first one accused and did time. And he's an old man when he was charged, and they found him guilty. It was hearsay evidence to me. I don't see, I'm not trying to belittle any woman. I'm not saying that didn't happen. But in a court of law, if you can't, the burden of proof is on the innocent. It's not the guilty. The guilty is trying to make sure they're not found guilty. So the burden of proof is on the person who is innocent, technically. And it was 25 years ago, and they were in the room, and it was a coaching couch, and they got raped, and they said nothing for 25 years. I'm not belittling what happened to them, but if I had been in the jury box, I would not have been able to find either a guilty nor innocent plea because every evidence they supposedly sent out there to be scrutinized by that jury was hearsay because there was nothing There were nothing proven on these incidences. And yet Danny Masterson, too, was found guilty. And again, this had happened 20 years previous, supposedly. At least the ones who were found to be able to charge him. 3 out of the 4 women won this suit against Danny Masterson. I didn't follow very well either of those trials. But at the same time I did, I picked up enough to say, well, where's the proof? And why'd they wait 25 years or 20 years? And now it's, all kinds of them are just falling left and right. After Cat Williams came out and said what he did. And he said on the Shay Shay interview that a bunch were going to go down this year. And he didn't specify who or how long or any of those things. He just said that a lot of them that had kind of held him back all these years, because I had wondered where he went myself. But then you stop noticing. I used to ask where the guy from The Mummy was. Can't think of his name offhand. Good boy. Started out with that movie Caveman. He was so funny. I loved him in The Mummy. In any event, he was also blacklisted and gained a ton of weight, and he had plenty of money. I mean, as far as that goes, he could do anything he wanted. He had many millions, especially through the Mummy enterprise. It probably still makes money from those endeavors, but he was also hand-tied. He did do a movie recently, and basically it was about like he had gone through, the weight gain, the pressure, the nobody give a shit kind of thing. And almost all of us deal with that in our lifetimes. And I'm glad to see Brendan Fraser. I'm glad to see he's coming back. I don't know how Hollywood works that way, but they've gotten a lot of them. Rose McGowan. I mean, it's just names, and it just goes on and on and on. And I was like, how did Cat Williams know this? He did predict that perfectly, because it's on and on and on and on and on. And yet, there is 15, 20 years in the past. So there are no DNA. There's no skirt I wore like with Monica Lewinsky, which was funny. I did not have sex with that woman. But these guys are being prosecuted many years later. Of course, they found Clinton innocent. Mind you, he paid Jennifer Flowers off when he was the governor before he ran for president. Now, they're trying to accuse Trump of the same thing with Stormy Daniels, but apparently she just kind of choked her ass out. Apparently she wasn't good enough for the jury either. If you don't have the evidence to prove this, I can't screw up somebody's life forever on the basis of, I was raped in 1973. I am sorry to hear that. But I cannot adjudicate that person is guilty of it because you said so. And that's what some of these, especially Masterson, and this is recent, there's no evidence. There isn't even footage. And in the 21st century, there's cameras freaking everywhere. They've been there since the 90s, but they got better. They found the blind spots and all that. So, they got lots better. So where's the footage of this? Where's the footage of them seeing this boy? Well, he's a man, but he was pretty much a young boy when all that, he's a young man. Either way, and 20 years is a long damn time, no matter who you are. Wife, no children, probably won't have any now. But what happened? Where was the evidence? I mean, these women come out of the woodwork. They say, this is what happened. Well, where were you 20 years ago when it happened? Because you had DNA evidence on you. Lewinsky, she was smart. She kept the dress. Poor thing. That was a mess. But they're not held at the same standards as everybody else. Like I said, Clinton was found innocent. They knew he was guilty of sin. But Hillary was running that show. And they call her Hillary for a reason. Yeah, I was there when the one killed himself at Rock Creek Park. And I was shocked because I used to take my son to Rock Creek Park. And he supposedly shot himself in the head twice. That's a hell of a suicide. Well, that didn't work. Again, I don't go with suicide on that, but that was the ruling found, yes. That was really found. Not believing it for a second. No. Same with Danny Masterson. I can't say I disbelieve those girls. I don't. But they waited all these years. So whatever happened between them and Mr. Masterson was okay with them for 20 years. Now, if they'd have waited like 6 months, even, I went, well, at 8 out of them, they can't. But 20 years? 20 years to come forward and say, this man raped me? And supposedly the excuse was the other woman who started the train rolling picked up the other girls along the way. And even then, the jury could only find 3 of them a guilty verdict for those 3, that he had done this. And I'm not defending this man or any other man. I'm defending the justice system because I don't see justice done here. Justice would be a proven fact that that's what happened. And there would have been a very viable reason for it to have waited 20 years. And I see my eyes are watering real bad. I don't know about y'all, but if something like that happened to me, I'd be gunning for him. I wouldn't wait for the police or a courtroom. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. 20 years? I'd have done shot him to death in the first 2 weeks. I mean, and there was no, they didn't go in and start to file a rape report and not take it. There was nothing leading up to this on these liaisons. And again, I would have to go, okay, why did you wait? Where was the attorney for these men? And why didn't they say that's hearsay, that's hearsay? Because it is. Without a burden of proof, it's hearsay. Unless you can convict beyond a reasonable doubt. And I've got a reasonable doubt because I don't see any proof. Again, I'm like, really? Why did you wait 20 years? And why did they just say that the one girl had to be dropped from the suit? Well, didn't win anyway. I'm not sure how that worked out because I don't understand any of that trial. I didn't understand Bill Cosby's trial. I don't know how it could go to trial. I don't know how charges could be brought on rape for 20, 25 years in Cosby's case. He's 90. What did you wait for? What if he'd died when he was 72? Would you have done that? I mean, these were the questions I would have asked if had I been in the jury. Of course, I'd never be accepted for a jury because I believe in justice. I believe the law applies the same to everybody. Be you man or woman, no matter what happened, it's the burden of proof. That's what the courtroom is. You have to have burden of proof. Like Solomon did not have burden of proof. And so he said, cut the child in half. And he knew the mother would come forward and say, no, it's her child, to save the child's life because that's the true mother. You wouldn't want, no. Okay, she can have him. They'd be alive. And so then he got the burden of proof, didn't he? Because then the mom stepped forward and the other one went, no, I'm not. Yeah, she was okay with cutting him in half. So, hell of a mom there. So, I think I've been on my soapbox on that long enough, but I do feel that there's not justice done. If you could find Clinton innocent in his position when he'd already paid off, and everybody knew he paid off Jennifer Flowers, still remember the name, it was 1980s, for God's sake. He was governor at the time, second term. He'd been with her since the first term. And supposedly Hillary knew all about this stuff if you talk to people around her. She hated anybody being close to her. Even the Secret Service had to hide closets and shit. She was coming down the hall. Oh, hell no. I don't care what she thought of herself. Screw you, I'm out. Not hiding first yet. If I'd have known that, I really would have visited the White House. Jump out. Get arrested. Make the local news. Back then, you still had news. Today, you don't. So I'd like to see how many hands are still watching the political shows. How many of you have signs on your bumper sticker? Yeah, that many, huh? How many of you go in and say, I'm going to vote, and nobody will know. Let me draw the curtain. Yeah, everybody. Mm-hmm. That big hat on your head didn't tell them which way you're going to vote. And why are you voting? Because they elected the president 4 months previous or whatever. The Electoral College, you can Google it. It's exactly what it says. The Electoral College votes in the American president. Look it up. Don't have to believe me. Look it up. And you're going to find, just like I said, that the president is voted in by the Electoral College, representing the people. Do you guys know who your representatives are? No, me either. I mean, if I didn't laugh, I'd go stupid. Not to mention, be one of those jackets where you hug yourself. Because you can't, it's such an imbalance, too. You find the American president through the Electoral College. You still go vote. You wear your shit. You got bumper stickers that say who you're going to vote for. You still draw the curtain, and it's already a done deal. It's before you ever thought about that. When will Americans acknowledge even to themselves? I'm not the only one who knows this or whatever. They still go and vote. We can still make a difference. How? How are you going to make a difference? How are you going to vote somebody that's already voted in? How are you going to vote them out they already voted in? Well, they're trying real hard with the last president that we had. He didn't do anything wrong, as far as I can see. He was really good for the country, and people really kind of want him back because everything else has gone to shit. They screwed us running for 2 years, 2 years on COVID. Don't call it the China virus. You can call it the Spanish flu, but don't call it the China virus. No hypocrisy there. Well, a little bit. I need my stiffener this morning, too. Oh. Really. I'm like, what at this point do people want to get to? 2 years. Kids couldn't graduate, that they could go to freaking Walmart. And at what point did anybody say that? Nowhere. I wasn't hearing a hue and cry except at the grocery store. This is the only place you was had open was Walmart. Walmart. Yeah. How many mom and pop businesses closed at 2 years? Which is exactly why they did it. With Trump trying to get him out of that. He kept trying to pull us out. Wanted to take away taxation on wages. They had a conniption fit. Now, if you take away the wages on your paycheck, holy Hannah, do you at least get some of your money? Because they're never supposed to tax your wages. Check the Constitution, check the Bill of Rights, understand what it's about. I have seen a group start to emerge that is pushing against the system as far as cops, sheriffs, things like that, because they were going out and they were literally, and even with body cams on, they were inventing charges because they pulled somebody over because they were a smart ass and they didn't like how they responded. And they've jerked him out of the vehicle because they didn't get out in a second after. I mean, I watched one that was like less than 3 seconds. They said, get out of the vehicle. And the person went, huh? And they had him dragged out, slammed against it. It was a girl, about 5'2", maybe, wet, 90 pounds. Then slammed her head into the vehicle, threw her on the ground, about broke her arm, tore the rotary cuff in her arm. She was able to sue. She wasn't guilty of anything. I did the husband the same way he was filming. And they have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, as far as I'm concerned, that they are abusing their offices. They were playing God with a gun. God with a gun. I don't like police. I don't like sheriffs. I don't like God with a gun. Don't like that shit. You guys are out there trampling around on the First or the Fourth Amendments, and you know it. The real bitch is the guys that are good cops are going, let me move over here because I'm not going to do that. When good suspect does nothing, evil flourishes. And that's a very good proven point if you look up bad cops. There's a ton of videos. They're from body cams. They're from people's phones. There's a ton of evidence that these guys have been doing this. Guys and girls, don't make a mistake there, men and women, in the power of their office. They don't need that power, and they're never supposed to hold that power. They certainly aren't supposed to invent that power. Somebody needs to get hey, you don't have that power. And some of them are going to jail. But those people have been confirmed as murderers, basically. One boy was shot in the back like 6 times because they thought he had a knife. He was running away because he was scared of you. You done palmed that weapon. And you shot him 5, 6 times in the back. That's not a person who's coming at you. That's not a threat. That's you being God with the gun. And I can quote chapter and verse on that one, so can many others. You could look it up, and there are people in there who are running a business trying to help people. They've had to quit working because there are so many cases. They're being called and emailed tens of thousands per week. This isn't just a small problem, and it is US wide. And it needs to stop. This is why the body cameras came out. And they've learned that, I believe that most of them go in and delete the footage and then turn in their chip for the day or what have you. Those who didn't think to do that, maybe at the beginning, other people have pulled and downloaded the video and went against them on it. I don't know who that would be, but I just know that their body cams were on and they were released to these particular groups who are showing the world what these guys and girls are doing. And it's a shame. It's beyond a shame because people's lives are ruined. In some cases, they take the life. There was a Vietnam veteran on a bike who was homeless. He was hit by a cruiser. The cop got out. The guy said, "No, I'm okay, no problem." Picked up his bike, started setting it around. The second, third, and fourth cops pulled up. The second cop went over and told him to sit on the curb. And he didn't hear him. He's an old man. He'd just been hit by a cruiser already, a police cruiser. And his bike, he was trying to fiddle with it, make sure it was okay, realized he dropped his wallet. And he took 2 steps before that cop slammed him into the curb head first. He didn't die instantly. He had 2 Purple Hearts from Vietnam, but he did die from the head wound. You can't slam somebody's head into a curb without killing them or putting them in a coma, which was what happened. He went into a coma and probably died. Wasn't guilty of anything. He was hit by a different cruiser, and he told the guy, "I'm okay, you can go." He told him he didn't need EMS. And this is what I said about the good cops, because the good cop comes over, and this is while he's still telling this guy stuff. And the guy's, yeah, I got to find my wallet. This is just a second or two before the guy stepped off for 2 steps. And the good cop goes, did you call EMS? And the guy goes, "Oh, we don't need EMS." Then the guy took 2 steps and he slammed on the curb. And then the good cop said, "Well, we do now." That was his take on that. "Well, we need EMS now." The cop's take on that was to grab him by his hair, pull him up, and throw him against his knee, lean his knee back a little bit, but keep him upright so it just looked fine. "Go ahead and call him." This was all on the footage. It was all on the body cams. That was released to someone. I know his sister was in charge of his burial and so forth. But this was a hero. And he was treated like nothing and killed for nothing. He had even told the officer, "Go ahead, I'm fine." So, what are they going to do about that? Nothing. If you hear the bleed through, that's my husband. He's upstairs. He's still, I don't know. "Hey, we can hear you down here." Just so that he's around. He likes to do stuff like that. He's half deaf, I suppose, sometimes. When I get younger. I know I'm almost deaf. So, yeah. On top of that, everybody, like I said, the good cops cover it up by just going, "Well, we need him now," and sliding over. I know nothing about that. Trying to make sure they can't even be asked. And you're like, and yet they're finding people guilty after 25 years has elapsed since the original crime, or 20 years, whatever have you. No evidence. This is all hearsay. He said, she said, he said, she said. But he said wrong, and she said right, so he's guilty. Weren't they instructed on beyond a shadow of a doubt. Just in case they didn't know already. That's the way it generally works. I mean, been in court, played by own attorney a couple of times. One. You don't always have to have an attorney. Go to a law library. Now you could do it on your Chromebook, laptop, whatever, tablet. You could just law library for whatever state you're in. You don't want the library unless you're going per federal laws. Then you want to pull up theirs because the law is different, by the way. I love this too. The law is different in every state. And they will say that, especially at the traffic police, when they come through and they get somebody and that person says, well, no, it's not a crime in Nevada. I got 5 miles more and I'm out of your state. Well, that's why they pulled you, because you're still in the state. And they're over there going, well, it's not the same in this state. Not the same in this state. Yeah, get out of the car. Tased a woman so bad one time, again, she died. This has got to stop. And everybody had a fit about George Floyd, and they should have. It was right. But now they've turned their backs on it again, and it's not just one person. We're talking nationwide here. Even if you just count the contiguous U.S., those 48 states or whatever, that doesn't, like Alaska, Hawaii, they don't count Puerto Rico because they're not contiguous. They're not land bound by us, even though they are American. But when I say contiguous, I just mean the states that are conjoined. And each one is different. So they can make it up as they go along, apparently, because they go, no, that's not ours. Yeah, we do this. And if you question it, holy Hannah, are you going to get hurt? Because the cops got a problem with you already. And this is when our generation, we didn't fight. We just like, okay, just give me the ticket and pay the ticket. Because you knew they was going to shoot you. You didn't go to court either because you knew that it's going to cost more. If you went to court, they're still going to find you guilty. I went to court. I only had one problem one time in my life driving. Went to court. Lost my ass off. Yeah, only time I ever lost in court was the one day I really needed to win. But I went one time. And that's the way they do these things. You're gone before you even get there. And that was proven by one of the court cases that my husband was taken in on. And I ended up getting, thank God, the judge recused from the bench, and he finally retired. He asked me to work for him. Like, not a chance, you two-timing. Better retire. I wasn't done with him. He knew I wasn't done with him. I wanted to take it higher. I didn't want him just to be recused from the bench. I wanted him punished. I wanted his law license and everything jerked from him. And it should have been. And I backed off when he retired. He's retired. That's good enough. He can't do to anybody else what he did to us, which was cost you several $1,000s and 2 jobs that were working for the state. Not the state we were publicly in and arrested on. Well, I wasn't, but you get my point. So, yeah, there's a personal thing in it for me. And, of course, I can't find jack squat this morning. But I managed to get Pixie to almost go to sleep next to me. She didn't want me to kill her. It's hard to like these things anymore. Nope, not been work with me, I don't guess. I have a hole in it. Let's see. I'll try it one more time. I quit. I have no idea. In any event, my eyes are just killing me this morning. For some reason, I'm really hot, and yet the ambient temperature in here is 71. And most people keep their homes at 73, 74. At 73, I'm hot, and I can't take the heat. Then I do this flushing thing. I hate that. Anybody who's ever gone through menopause, either, I don't know why they call it menopause for women, because men go through it too. I don't know what they call it for men. But yeah, that's a lot of fun. Men get really stupid. So do we women. It's not good. It's never good. Yeah, and when you're doing something, it's when you don't want to sweat. It was always something you were in the middle of. Pictures to be taken, something like that, and you got sweat running, like now. And I wasn't going to stay up here for an hour this morning, so I'm going to tell everybody: look, hit the like, hit the dislike, share, subscribe, figure it out. Bring the hippies up here. Bring the baby boomers if you prefer that title. Bring it on. Let's find out what's going on the planet while we still have a free medium. I don't think that YouTube is going to allow these much longer for free because I know that they're being monitored as far as that goes. I've had a couple of mine taken down, and I'm just up here talking about what's in the news today, what was in the news yesterday, and what might be in the news tomorrow. They don't like that. It's harder for them to make it up to taking along if somebody's actually paying attention, going, hmm. Then, of course, religious matters from the Vatican on to any other religion, just about. And I'm not going to throw Hinduism, Buddhism, all that in because it's terribly different. And I actually like those systems. The government doesn't run them. But the governments of the world really run organized religion, basically. It was always to keep the masses downtrodden, as we used to say, had to deal with the man. So they made sure that stayed. They didn't get out of that. On top of that, they made sure that the people kept doing what they were programmed to do, the little worker bees. And the worker bees have it just like us, the ants too. The little workers that run around. Then you got the big old queen. That's good to be queen. I keep trying for that position. I'm not getting there. I'm like, queen number one. No, okay. I have no idea, guys. I keep saying, okay, this is going to be this, and this isn't going to fly. And yet, hearsay is now recognized for two major cases that come to my mind: it's Masterson and Cosby. I wouldn't want it to happen to me. I'll put it that way, because again, I didn't see a burden of proof anywhere, and you kind of need that. I think that's what it used to be. Nowadays, it's very different. And I keep saying, well, you're retired, so, come on. These things are on film, or however they call it today. We say film still. How can you go against film? They do. Okay, well, let's try something else. And I say they do because I'm talking again, I'm going to bring up the matter of police and sheriff's departments and so forth. And they see the opposition will tell them, whatever you want to call that, the person who's been maligned will say, their attorneys will say, we've got the body footage. We got the body cam from all the officers that were there. So they know already, oh. And they still go, we want that. You can't use that, this, that, and the other. Pretty soon they're probably going to make up a law that says you can't film. Well, they've already done that in some places, that you can't film them because they will go up to the police stations and film the police station and film the cars and film them as they're doing the traffic stop. Oh, do they get mad about that? Even if the person who's driver or passenger will be filming, they're grabbing their cameras, throwing them on the ground and stuff like this. They're taking the bystanders who used to be maybe 15, 20 feet away. They're sending them to the hill so that you can barely make out the footage. You can see that but legally now in these areas, you cannot film next to the officers because you are interfering with their problem, whatever it is that they pulled somebody for or what have you. So yeah, they have found that their own footage and footage by bystanders. This has happened many times that bystanders are like, did I hear that right? And then they've come forward and said, wait, what? No, this person, are they out of the hospital? And this is people who've seen you tase somebody 3 or 4 times. Now, people, you can't kill people with a taser. Look it up. I'm not going to sit here and lecture on a taser. Y'all know. Just like a gun. Y'all know. Once, maybe you walk away from. Maybe even twice you can be carried away from. But anything about that, it's up to God. Because that's not a good thing. I mean, how many times do you think a lobotomist was in there chipping away? And it took them a long time to say, hey, don't do that. President's sisters. From what I understand, maybe even Queen and King sisters. It took a long time for them to stop that. And I don't think any of us want to imagine what a lobotomist was doing. But it's about the same thing when the officers who are caught on their own body cams, and I'm talking taking a guy's wallet out of a grocery bag while having him handcuffed on the ground. You're searching. You see his wallet's in the grocery bag because you got him in the parking lot. You take out all the money and then you put that away and you take the wallet too. And they're asking for it back because they know the wallet was in the grocery bags. And once they get out of jail, because you took them to jail, both them and the wife, because the wife was filming, going, what are you doing? You stopped us 4 times this week. And this was a true case. And they get out, they go finally get their car out. Because they tow your car. So you got to pay for the tow. And these are working class folk. If they made $300 a week, they were happy because they could buy food. And that was before the last 2 years crept in and said, now for food. Well, there's if you pay $100, get another 15 out for taxes. For food, they have 2 taxes on everything in Georgia besides the state and all that. So you really have 4 or 5 taxes on everything. It's criminal. Texas doesn't do that. I don't think Florida does either. I know they don't have a wage tax, and they're never supposed to have one. And they actually go by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I don't think either that 90%, maybe 60%. You'd have to juggle those stories, but I'm thinking about 90% of the folk don't even have an idea what their rights are because they're blindly going with the officer. You know, the officer's done cuffed them. They still don't know what they're getting. And they've got them cuffed in the back, telling them they detained. That's different than under arrest. Detained, we can just sit you in our car in handcuffs while we make up something to charge you with while they're on the computer looking for something. It's on the body cam. Okay, well, we can get it for this. I'm going to charge you with obstruction. They love obstruction. If you seriously, you can't make this stuff up. If you go, wait a second, what do you charge me for? And then they get ugly. And you've been in the back of the police cruiser going, ow, what the hell? And they've shown how the cuffs come off of them, and their arms are all messed up. Their wrists are just terrible shape. And they do, especially if they're angry, they will tighten those cuffs so you don't even get any blood to those hands until they finally take them out. God help you if you pass out or something like that. One woman in Texas was on the side of the road, supposedly for a traffic violation. She had 3 children in the car. And they took her, she had gone grocery shopping for the kids, ice cream and so forth. And they took her and threw her to the ground because she was like, what's going on? What's wrong? They jerked her out of her car. They opened the door themselves. It's all on their body cams, and jerked the woman out. And the kids start crying because they don't know what's going on. This is in less than 2 minutes after the stop. She didn't even get a chance to get her wallet up. And they done jerked her out, thrown her on the ground. And I mean hard. They slammed her into the curb too. And she's trying to get up or away because they've got her in an anthill, a fire anthill. And everybody knows what a fire ant does. And they didn't take her face out. They shoved her face in there and held her down on that anthill. You should have seen this girl's face. Now, I don't know, to this day, it's been a little bit of time, I think 2 years, but from what I understood, she did win the case. I don't see how she could have lost. And there's no reason for the cops to not know. They knew what they were doing to her. God, with a gun. This shit's got to stop. Everybody who's out there, every traffic stop they ever have, a lot of you now need dash cams. The cops hate dash cams because it shows what you were doing. You didn't do nothing illegal in your car. You didn't make. I love the ones that get you for failure signal. My husband never signals, and he's a professional driver. He never signals. He just goes. This is me. I signal for 4 miles before I go. So yeah, and they'll get you for that. You didn't turn on a blinker. You weaved into the side lane. You might have weaved across the line a little bit. And that's what they're getting you for. But you didn't actually do that. You were actually okay. They're just making up that you did that. So people put dash cams in. My advice is to everybody, get your dash cam, get a selfie stick, and make sure you have it ready to roll. So if you did stop, your dash cam and your footage will show what happened to you, because they're getting smarter about the body cams and they're erasing them. And so some of this has been caught by dash cameras, and they prove, the dash camera proves without a shadow of a doubt, because it's evidence. It's not hearsay. Somebody didn't go, he said, she said 20 years ago thing. No, they went, okay, look here, I didn't do that. There's the blinker. And they always get you for obstruction. Always get you for obstruction, even though they know they screwed up, that you're not guilty of anything. They will find obstruction, because that will just make up. They wouldn't listen. Drag them out of the car. And pray you're not the next one they do that to. That's the reason I brought it up today. I've been seeing totally way too many cases of this. And I'm not talking one state. I'm not talking two. I'm talking the contiguous U.S. And then I suck, because I haven't seen the ones from Hawaii, Alaska, Puerto Rico. I haven't seen those. But I have seen the contiguous U.S. And I'm not going to name states. Go in there and find out on your own, and get a dash cam so that you'll have evidence that you didn't run off the road. You weren't doing 90. Film it. Is the best thing you can do. And this is why these people go out, and when they see a traffic stop, and they take their own time to do it, nobody's paying them, they pull over and they start filming, because they hope they save a life. Too many have died because the police officer or the sheriff, whoever, got PO'd. And I see my cat's coming, so I'm going to have to get off, because she's annoying me. And I've already had a rough day coming up. So everybody, check into those things. Come back and see me. Like I said, share, do the dislike, do the like, hit the subscription. You're not paying for it. It's free. So is YouTube. I think I'll try to post some more onto Facebook. I seem to get more people that way because of the time frame that I'm at. People are at work, or even on the weekend you're at work. You're at the house. None of us get to stay home until we're like this age, and then we're like, what do we do? So, nope, Pixie. Wow, she is being very insistent again this morning, so I'm going to get off so y'all don't have to look up my face. Toodles.